Hey gang, welcome back to another edition here of Intuitive Angling. Thanks for making some time to watch the video, much appreciated. Today I'm going to give you guys some really good juicy tips on how to fish the root sections of trees along the bank like this that you can see here. Very common amongst most lakes across the country, up in the creek arms and river arms. They're a great habitat for bass. I'm going to show you guys and tell you guys a little bit about how to fish them. So real quick before we get started here, just want to remind you guys of the Solar Bat Founders Day sale. You can get the RB2 model sunglasses there. They got some great promos on it. They got a deal where if you buy a pair, you get another, like a grab bag full of sunglasses worth $30 free. Some of the promos have, with some of the glasses, you buy one, you get another pair of equal value at no cost. So check them out at solarbat.com. I'll include the link in the description here for you guys to check it out. So anyway, guys, I'm going to walk you through this, what a tree root system looks like, give you guys some tips and advice on how to fish it. Hey guys, there's Elijah getting his boat up on the bank here. We're going to show you guys what I'm talking about here. Now here's a real good example of what we're talking about with root sections along the banks on a lot of different lakes across the country. A lot of this, you can see right here, a lot of it is caused from erosion as far as why you have exposed root sections here like this. Over the course of time, it's just inevitable that these trees are going to erode to some point where they fall into the lake and they become cover and habitat themselves. That's just sort of the natural progression of it. But as you can see here by looking at this root system, this is what we're talking about as far as it being great bass holding habitat. Not only the root section, but then you also have the shade from the overhanging tree, like it puts down right here. So there's another piece of habitat there for overhanging tree. But specifically, I want to talk about the root section today. Now this in here, you can see the water shallow here, so don't pay much attention to it. But what you want to look for when you're looking at fishing these root sections here around different parts of the lake, most of the time, like I said, you're going to find it in the creek and river arms. And you want to concentrate on these places like this that are on the outside bends of the creek or river arm, because what happens is you'll have an undercut bank here and the water will be pretty deep right off of the bank. You know, it drops off 2, 3, 4 feet fairly quick. And a lot of times, depending upon the type of the tree you have, is these roots that come up on the bank here, they'll extend way out into the water sometimes, depending upon water levels and the type of tree it is. So it's a good habitat regardless of the water level. Now, obviously, if the water levels are high, you know, you've got all the cover up here, the actual base of the tree comes into play. But a lot of it has to do with the combination of the root system and the subsequent shade that the tree throws off. These are also great areas, guys, if you have any type of a current, because these roots will create eddies in it. You know, if the water's high enough, the tree will be a good eddy break behind of it. Excellent places to catch bass. So the main thing that what I'm looking for when I fish this is anytime that I'm fishing a root section, I'm thinking pitching and flipping either a jig or some type of a soft plastic. My favorite bait for pitching and flipping root sections is a 3/8 ounce Walking Old School jig. I usually like brown with some type of a green trailer, depending upon the water clarity. Black and blue if it's a little bit dirty. And if I'm not using that, I'm using some type of a creature bait like a brush hog, you know, Z hog, something like that. Just pitching it and flipping it in and around the root sections. Now the weight of the lure that you want to use is dependent upon some different factors. Back to the weight of the lure there, I had to turn the camera off here because a helicopter went across. But the weight that you want to use is pretty critical on this deal, and a lot of it has to do with how complex and how thick the root systems are, and it has to do with the current or the wind. Obviously, a lot of these places we're talking about are they're in the river part of a lake, so you tend to have some current, which you have to use a little bit heavier sinker. But most of the time, I like to use as light a sinkers I can get by with, like a 1/4 ounce jig, 3/8 ounce jig, 1/4 ounce, 3/16 ounce slip sinker on my creature baits. This allows me to pitch it in those root sections and come up and over those root sections a lot easier without getting hung up. You'll find out you get hung up a lot more, if you use a little bit heavier weight. So try to stay light if you can. But overall, guys, when you're fishing this type of stuff here, it's a pitching and flipping deal. I don't do really that great on it, like crankbaits or spinner baits, although you can at times. but most of the time it's a pitching and flipping deal. But don't overlook them, guys. Like I said, keep an eye out for this. Anytime you see it, you know, fish them slow and methodically. I've caught some really good bags of fish on it. All the lakes, like in Alabama, I've done real good on it. Some lakes have more of it than others. A lot of lakes just have some isolated cover on it. If you have a river arm or something like this, or a creek arm, you tend to have more on it. But all you guys that grew up fishing creeks and rivers like I did, you know about this. This isn't anything new, but just wanted to pass that info along to people that may not know that. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. We're gonna let Elijah get back here on his boat, sort of enjoying a summer afternoon here on the creek, and we'll talk to y'all later. See you.